All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's turn the light on here. Here we go. All right. Welcome back. Welcome to the afternoon session of today's live stream. Today is January the 23rd. Let's see. Okay. So we ran those highs. I know we were looking at potentially seeing a long earlier, just before we got off this morning. We got off this morning session about 15 minutes early. So just right around this point here, we saw price push down a bit, and then we saw more bullish momentum above the new day opening gap. Rejected off of the new week opening gap, back down to the fair value gap here, 220. And then from there, we saw these highs being rated as the draw on liquidity. Yep. So the entry, I know initially we looked and we said, okay, well, because one of the subscribers talked about going long, and I looked, and the only thing we had at the time was this small little fair value gap right here, this tiny one. But then we had one set up here. This would have been your breaker. We had a breaker with the fair value gap inside, and that became the entry. So this is essentially the 2022 model. We had a sweep of a low here, sweep of a low, impulse push out, retrace back down to the fair value gap with the breaker, and then from there push higher towards liquidity. So once again, price has decided that they wanted to make the move when as few people as possible would be paying attention. And can't really blame the market makers for that. You know, they're greedy. They want to keep all the money to themselves. And so this is what happened. Loot, no, I'm not sure who Mike is. Fauci, Ray, Loot, Crypto, Vivian, welcome back, everyone. Oh, the 15-minute busy. Yeah. They pop up to the 15-minute, and I've been looking at that this morning. And so this is one Ray's talking about. So we had to trade into it almost every 15-minute candle this morning. And every time it traded in, even if it traded through, it still managed to retrace and close either inside or above this 15-minute, dating all the way back to this morning during the London session at 4 o'clock. Yep. So now we got a retest of the midnight open, which all right, let's Oh, that's what you're talking about, ICT. Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone speak about him as Michael Huddleston. But no, I didn't check him out this morning. I was hosting my own live stream, so I didn't have a chance. I know I know someone said he was going on tomorrow at 8:15, but that's right after. I mean, that's before I wake up, to be honest with you. So I'm probably not going to be able to check his live stream. I may check it out this evening after the day is over with, but no, I'm not going to stop my live stream to watch ICT. Bob, look at that. Congratulations, man. Salutes to you, man. That's excellent. Oh, caught 40 points on the Dow. Okay, congrats. Yep, this morning. So this morning we were paying attention to this for quite a few times, just looking to see when the dollar. I'm sorry, yeah, when the dollar as well as the indices were going to start moving in the direction that we expect. And as you can see, it's just really been consolidation on these two fronts. But the Dow has been moving the opposite of the dollar. Dollar's been expanding ever since, when did it start? 2 o'clock this morning, pretty much nonstop expansion. And the dollar, and then we've had the Dow pushing for lower prices as a minimum since 9 o'clock, just straight downwards. We have the dollar, the only one in discount so far, already pushed past 50%. I thought maybe Nasdaq would get there, but it rejected back higher. So not yet. Even, and that's if it even wants to go there. But we do have the Dow trading the discount, so maybe that's what we needed for the three of them to then become bullish. But we need to continue watching the dollar. We want to see if the dollar pushes for lower prices once it gets in this fair value gap. Yep, that's exactly why I moved over to Nasdaq to NQ Bobs, was because I wanted something faster, something that covered more ground whenever it made a move. Hoping we get a retest of the new week opening gap, potentially go long from there. Let me bring back the session highs and lows just for reference. All right. Thank you very much, Bob, for the kind words. I really appreciate it. All right, GC, welcome to the room. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys. Hopefully the lag is not too much. If the lag gets to be too much, somebody let me know so I can make adjustments before our next session. I made adjustments last night, so this morning session seemed to have gone okay. But we'll probably have different traders in this afternoon. So if anyone notices anything, just let me know. You know, I've been getting that all my life where people always told me I should do radio. They either say I should do radio or I had people just run into me randomly and ask me if I do voiceover work. What motivated me to do live stream? Mostly accountability. So it was accountability as well as just sort of the what's the word I'm looking for? So reinforce my learning. So it keeps me from having FOMO. It keeps me from revenge trading because I have a live audience watching me. So all of those bad habits go away just by thought. But also it allows me to reinforce the learning that I've been doing for the last 3 years, which then hopefully fuels added confidence for me. So that was really the motivation to start, was just to document everything, to have a live audience, and to make sure that I'm getting rid of bad habits and just talking myself through the trade without sitting here alone. Um, but what I found by live streaming is that there's a community out here that provides way more than I thought it would. I thought it was just going to be, a few people sitting in here watching me trade and asking a few questions and going from there. But it's become much more than that. And now every morning when I start up live, either in the morning or even the afternoon session, there's already a group of people who are here every day checking in. And so it's become an actual community, which I didn't really anticipate when I started. Yeah, but I'm learning to be comfortable on the camera. I'm learning to be comfortable on social media. I don't really have a large social media presence. It's just not really been my thing. But I'm getting used to it, I think. The Quiet Storm, late nights at 10 p.m. Yeah, you're right about that. Trading, it is definitely lonely. And Really, the only communication I had been having is some of my friends who trade. Will send screenshots or things back and forth several times during the day, but that was about all the communication I was having with others about trading. So this is a lot better, and like I said, it allows me to, as I'm talking myself through the trade and talking myself through price action, I'm reinforcing what I've already learned, which then gives me confidence that I really did learn it and I can use it. But I will say, you guys are really challenging me on not only becoming a better trader, but identifying the setups as they come. Because we have some subscribers in the room that are picking out most of the setups every day, and and I'm happy for them. And one day I'll have the confidence to take that many trades within a day. But for now, I just stick to the setups that I like. Small volume imbalance here. Not sure if it's going to hold, but I'll draw it up. There we go. And just as I finally completed drawing it, it has been traded through. Just for kicks, did anyone take a trade during lunch? Okay, Vivian, you got it. All right. Were you able to catch it down here at around 442 ish, 443? Two candles after. Okay, cool. All right, HDS, we'll figure out how to get you out of your funk. Oh, okay. All right. So you took the midnight open retrace. That's actually not a bad trade when you see it come back, especially when you do have the bullish momentum confirmed. On top of that, we are now back bullish. We're out of the turn that we were in when we were bearish. So you have it confirmed there, and you traded above. So now when you get a retrace back, it's definitely a key level. Let me just make sure it is the midnight. Okay, yeah, it is the midnight open. So on a daily basis, that's a good level to trade from. During your next back testing session, try to see if you can point out the midnight open every day and see how many times price trades back to it and whether you can take an entry from there. I mean, even here we see it touched 3 times. right, let's remove some of this. Figure out where these lines. Okay, so that can go as well. Let's go for next pool of liquidity. All right, we got a swing high here. And this fair value gap is where you want to pay attention to prior to the New York high, so the high of today. Okay. 23, so that means we have a, there we go. All right, if this entry is going to hold and deliver at 1 to 2 trade, we're going to get above that fair value gap and just underneath the New York high. Okay, so you took the 1 minute, 2 up close hands at 11:20. All right, let's see Ray's trade here. Okay, limited consequent encroachment of that breaker. All right. So we had the breaker that was created down here that had an entry back at 12:20 when it returned down that low. But prior to that, Ray is saying he took it here, consequent encroachment of this breaker, which came down at 11:49. So just after we got off the session, I finally stopped distracting Ray and he found his entry and there he was off to the races. So if you put it just below the breaker, let's see, he was able to get a 1 to 5 trade. If he wanted to end his trade before the retracement, he's still holding. So he is, he will at the peak, he was more than 1 to 10 on his trade. Right, 1 to 11 on his peak. And even if we assume he had a larger stop loss, right, he's still above 1 to 7, 1 to 8 on his trade so far and still holding. So good trade, Ray. Actually, great trade. Oh, you had a large one. Okay, yeah, I was just curious. I was wondering why you entered on this breaker and not on this one down here. Okay. All right. Appreciate the insight. Thank you for that. Okay, this is still that entry off of the 5-minute fair value gap. So let's go back up. Actually, not even the fair value gap, just the midnight open inside the fair value gap. So let's see if we can find a way to minimize the risk on this one. All right, so we would have taken it as if it was potentially this fair value gap right here, which then would allow a stop loss here. So in that case, a 1 to 2 trade is much more feasible in this range down here. Which has already been delivered so far. Yep. Yeah, I was hoping we'd come back down to this area here at 466, but there's no guarantee we'll make it this far down. Yep. Yep. Looks like a doji. Absolutely. Today and yesterday's candle. Well, yesterday's, no, it's a little different. It's, I guess a pin bar. Right. Okay, back to the new week opening gap. Played off of 50% so far. Yeah, we have all three indices selling as well as the dollar right now. Follow my trades. Well, I generally trade ICT concepts. So if you're familiar with smart money concepts or ICT, then those that make sense. Breaker blocks, fair value gaps, those kind of things. So if that terminology works for you, then it should be pretty easy to follow. Futures, I'm not sure the difference between futures and gold. Unless you trade gold futures, I'm sure it's about the same. But it's essentially price action and they're following the same algorithm. So you should see similar chart patterns and that kind of thing. You should be able to follow it the same way. I like to use the dollar as well as the other indices. I mostly trade on Nasdaq, but I like to use the other indices in the dollar to bounce off ideas to see if Nasdaq is moving in the direction that I want it to. And also when I see the three indices moving together, generally it's an easier flow. So you see more energy towards reaching targets or towards reaching pools of liquidity. So that kind of thing. But I think if you sit back for maybe half hour or so, that you'll find it easy to follow. I haven't taken any trades yet. I'm just sort of marking up the chart, looking to see what's going on and whether I would like to take a trade. But so I'll just, these blue boxes are breaker blocks. So whenever you see me put a blue box, it's going to be a breaker. Sorry. Once a day, this yellow box will form, and that's the new day opening gap. Another thing I learned from ICT, and it's just a gap between the close at 1700 of one day and then the reopen an hour later at 1800. Sometimes there's a gap there, and so it marks this in the yellow. The green is the same thing, but for the week. So this is the price from Friday's close to Sunday's open. And fair value gaps. So all the red ones or pink ones are going to be bearish fair value gaps. And then the green ones are going to be bullish. So these are going to be bullish fair value gaps. Um, but yeah, any questions you have, just throw it in the chat. I'll make sure I try to keep you up to speed or answer any questions you may have, so you don't feel lost. And yeah, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you. 113 inverted fair value gap. Gonna hold off on that for now. Hmm. I'm gonna leave it on the 5 minute until we get to 150, and then when we start looking into the lower time frames, I'll switch back. And currently inside of this fair value gap, bullish fair value gap there. It's just all right. There's a 1 to 2 without even breaking the high. Yep. Okay, so you're saying you're looking for a sweep of a low and then impulse move up. All right, let's see. Mm, okay. I am not, Frank. I did recognize that it was made this morning, but no, that's not part of my strategy. Yes, yeah, you'll see the trade that I take when I take one. You'll see, I'll go in and let's see, trade, right? You'll go in, you'll see me do this, and I'll put in a limit order of some kind. Yep. So when I put in, you'll see buy limit show up. And then when price trades down into it, then you'll see it activate. Let's see. So what happened during lunch is essentially one of the strategies I use. In fact, it's one of my favorites, which is this, which is right here. This blue shaded area is a breaker, which is this black candle here. Breaker is categorized a low, then we get a high, lower low, and then a higher high. Right? You would expect this high to be protected once the lower low is made. However, price drives above the previous high. And so that denotes the breaker. And when there's a breaker that also has a fair value gap inside, that's what ICT calls his unicorn setup. And that's what I like to take. This is also the 2022 model because you had a low here, or take that back, you had a low here. You had a sweep of that low, energy pushing the other way to a new high, creating a fair value gap. And then you take that trade when it comes back down. And that was the entry during lunch at 12:23. Okay. But I missed that trade. It's during the lunch hour where I don't trade. I don't even look at the chart because I'm live streaming 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. So I do need that hour away from the charts. It's no harm, no foul. I'm not gonna come after lunch and just try to jump in the trade because I missed it. But that is, if you just wanted to know what strategy I use, that's the one I use the most. Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that he said he made 4 mistakes or something like that. So while ICT was losing trades, I was sitting on my hands saying the market doesn't look good to me. And so I didn't trade this morning. Right. And I don't trade every session either. So I'm not sure if you are looking for someone who's going to show you trades so you can copy, because that's not really what I'm trying to promote here. I like the fact that we're all, or most of us, seem to be different style traders, and we all come with different experience as well that we're sharing with one another. But it's not necessarily a copy trade situation. So if that's what you're doing, please keep that to yourself. Yeah, I heard that ICT was live. But I have my own live stream now, so I didn't want to cut my live stream short to watch ICT. Right, so here we go again. Bingo. And there it is. Late markup of the breaker with the fair value gap inside. The only thing that was interesting about this one is you had a break here, which confirmed a breaker, and a retrace into the fair value gap all at the same time. But there it is. There's another missed trade, but it happens. I'm not sure. What do you mean by algo trading? You mean like some sort of automated type situation? Mhm. 473. Okay. Yeah, I've seen some people say that when you're doing a breaker block, when you get a close outside of the breaker block, you can actually take the trade then. So you could have entered here at 473 and a quarter, which looks like that's what Crypto Queen did. TJ was in early. It's like he was in down here somewhere. Oh, 66. Okay, so he was down when the fair value gap was being created. Wow, that's a bold move. And that's assuming you're looking at the same charts I am, TJ. If you're on a different chart, I apologize. Well, I learned most of all the things that I learned was from ICT. So ICT is a great resource. If you click into the Discord in the description of this video, inside the Discord, there's a tab called ICT resources, something like that. And inside of there is pretty much most of the videos that he has, separated by the different categories of what he's teaching in that video. And you can just, that'll make it a little easier to isolate and decide exactly which videos you want to watch. If you are a beginner to this type of style of trading and you need like a curriculum to follow, then I'll have to help you out a different way and give that to you at a different time. I don't have that structured in the Discord right now, but if that's what you need, stay after today's session and I'll try to help you. All right, a 1 to 2 trade from this fair value get. Oh, I'm sorry, from this breaker block. It's going to be worth roughly 12.5 points and should close out in fairly soon. All right, that's just a 1 to 2 trade. Let's see if you get all the way up here. That'll give you a 1 to 3. Be just shy of the high of the day. Okay, that's not the high of the day. What am I talking about? That's the high of the morning session. The high of 9, then basically the open that we returned to right at 1 o'clock when we started this afternoon. 2R, yep. Definitely grab 2R, which would have given you, 13.5 points. Assuming you got in right at the breaker, anywhere in below the breaker, and you made even more than that. $525, okay. GC, well, yes, after like the first 6 months or so, when I got tired of losing my own money. When I first started, I just thought that I would learn the concept, watch it a couple times, maybe practice a few days, and then I was off to the races trading my own money. And I don't want to tell you the story because it's quite embarrassing, but there's a lot of money lost there up front. So so yes, prop firms, after like the first 6 months, I stopped wasting my own money. In fact, I went into demo trading for like a year, just straight demo trading, nothing else. Oh, oh wow. Okay, I'm not that. Okay, I don't have that much lost, but it's more than I'd like to admit. I'll say that. Oh, indicators. Sure. Let me show you what I have. All right. So, you know what? I can get rid of this, and I'm not really using it. Okay, so I have NWOG, NDOG, and that's this green area, new week opening gap, and the yellow, new day opening gap. They just happen to be around the same area. But that's one of the ones I use. I use ICT midnight and 8:30 open. So that just puts this line here every day, moves it to a new location. And I have this one, which is TGFX previous day high and low, but this is a paid indicator, so you won't find this one on TradingView. But that's the one that put in my session highs and lows, so I can see what the Asia high and the London high and all that is. I have heard from some of the members here that you can use a different type of indicator for that same. It's called DIY Custom Strat Builder, and you can put in session highs and lows and that kind of thing, so you can have the same thing on your chart. But then I use also FVG from Nephew Sam, and so that draws my fair value gaps for me automatically, and I don't need to go in every time one is formed and created, or every time one is invalidated, go and delete it. The only drawback from that is for historic time. So let's say this fair value gap is still open and it's 3 weeks later and price is now back into the same range. This fair value gap is not going to stretch all the way across. So you'll have to go identify it and draw it manually. Also, if you use inverted fair value gaps at all, you're definitely going to have to draw them manually because the indicator won't do that for you. But those are the indicators I use. Yeah, I used to use many more indicators, and then once I got to studying ICT, then I realized he wasn't using many of them, and so there was no need for me to use them either. Okay, this trend line really doesn't mean much, but let's see if price is able to get over it. I drew it just because visually for me, when I look at the candles and I can see this line and I just have to draw it. Um, but I like to just see when price changes its trend. Not that I take any entries off of it. Hmm. Okay. I'll consider that. Let me mark that down. Okay, thanks for that. Hmm. Oh, break of structure, change of character by Nephew Sam. Okay. Hey, like it's coming down to test the midnight open again, possibly. Not necessarily wait for a lunch rate. No. All right, see if we get this bounce. I was taking this as a silver bullet entry. Yep, and a long now, looking, hopefully, hopefully that was the silver bullet. Right now, price action is not looking that way. Got a pretty deep retracement, but we'll see. Yeah, Ray, dollar is getting stuck on that previous high that it took. It retraced back to it and it's getting stuck right there at that level. All right, it's trading right now just below the midnight open. We want to see if it closes above. All right, that was a negative. So that's probably not good for our trade here, but we'll see. There we go. It's over. All right. But that long didn't work out for us. More than stingy. That's okay. Not really. Not really Turkish. Um, Best thing you can learn is to trust your trade, but you only learn that through experience. You only learn that through back testing, where you trust your setup, and also through trading psychology, where you understand that not every setup wins. Um, but if you get in a habit of cutting and running every time you see a trade that doesn't look like it's going to work out for you, more times than not, what'll happen is you'll see that trade actually go to where you wanted it to go, and then you'll have a FOMO and you'll end up ruining yourself trying to get that money back that in theory you lost. So yeah, so I try not to cut and run. I mean, everyone has their own style, and I'm not saying I've never done that or that I won't do that. But as a rule, I try not to do that. Well, Nice rejection out of the breaker to almost 3. 50% retracements in there, rejected out each time. All right, I'm gonna take a long from here. All right, finally we see the dollar trading below that level that was holding it up. See if we can get a retracement back into this area. Oh, down here, yeah. You're right about that. That would have been a sweet entry if you'd have got in at 50% of the breaker, or anywhere down here. Maybe this fair value got 67. Oh, okay. I was wondering what happened to my stop loss. Yeah, you're right. Today's conditions are definitely not great. I tried this one again because of the sweep of liquidity, thinking it might work this time. I mean, if it doesn't work this time, then I'm done for the day. I'll continue looking at price and maybe lining up any entries I may see for you guys, but gonna hold my liquidity for my equity for another day. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Really, Thursday is the day of the week. But we'll see. We'll see how this trade works out. All right, not great. There it goes. All right. Yep. So that's it for me for trading today. I'm tape reading for the rest. Yep. Let me just sprint over to the daily and we'll just, oops, there we go. Right. So this is today and this is yesterday. Yep. So these are days you really don't want to trade. You can see that price is sitting in this center space all day long. It may pull up a little bit, but then it pulls back. It may trade down a little bit, but then it pulls back. So it's just not ideal conditions. I thought I could catch one of those runs, and that's what happens if you try to catch the run after it's happened already. Um, and I should have followed my rules and not done that. Not only did I do it once, I did it twice. Um, yep. But it is what it is. Put the charts back up, or the graphics. There we go. Oops. All right. Just switched over to my practice account. So if I take any more trades, it'll be in a practice account. Right on, TJ. Yep. No, I mean ranges can be fine. I don't mind trading ranges, but it needs to be, yeah, it needs to be better than what we have now, and it needs to be a little larger. Like these ranges are 15, 20 points. Those can turn around too quickly. Maybe now, maybe have this what the three drives pattern, and now we'll see it run up. Gonna move up to the 5 minute for now. Mm. It looks like the kind of funneling action that we normally see on days that doesn't really cooperate with us. Usually we get this kind of stuff. Not really crypto. You could just bypass those times and trade when price is more favorable. It's still hovering in the same area where we started. I'll repeat it again. This yellow area is where we started today. The green area is where we started the week. And right here, this dashed line is where we started the calendar day. So this is where midnight was. All three of those areas are right here. And we've been here since 9:30 this morning. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been nice. Yep, there's the New York low. Yep, and there's the high. I also thought that the trade I took with the dollar starting to sell and finally pushing below a price point that it was struggling with, I thought we would get it sort of a release on the other side. Um, but I'll show you what we're dealing with. Right. All three indices are selling, and so is the dollar. When the dollar moved below this line right here, this was when I was looking to take the trade, thinking that it bouncing below there or pressing below would allow. At the time we were probably halfway, or sorry, we're probably halfway. And I thought that would give us enough energy to press towards some of these highs, but it wasn't having it. Yes, it is. This price action is giving us nothing to work with. Mm. Exactly. Yeah. Let's see what 250 brings. Even if it did something right now, I wouldn't trust it. Still barcoding. Ray, you say the 5 minute BTC is holding up. Yeah, this one right here is. All right. Let's get rid of these. All right, we're at the halfway point of our session today. Another 90 minutes to go. So let's cross our fingers that we get better price action for the second half. Thank you, crypto. Awesome. Thank you. Slowly target New York launch lows. Lunchtime lows. So we're going from here. And then this would be lunchtime high. Let me get rid of the session highs and lows. We don't need them any longer. There we go. Now it looks better. All right. So here's the lunch range. Yep. Let's go ahead and measure that so we can see where the center line is. Right where we are right now. 468 flat. Yeah, let's see how it responds when it returns to the midnight value. Yep. I mean, for the most part, you do see the higher lows, so it makes sense that it's slightly bullish, but it's, geez, this over here, I mean, this is 930. Now we're talking about 230 on this side. Yep. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think LeBom, I think you're saying this. It's very similar to where you just kind of have this where it just slow grinds its way down, right? And then once it gets there and you have all these highs that have not been run, then it makes one run up and take out all the highs. And now we see same sort of slow grind down, and then eventually it'll run the highs. That's the three drives pattern, I think, is what ICT calls it. Yeah, that's a good point. There's no fair value gaps here, which is strange. Well, finally traded again above the midnight open again. Let's see if it pulls some of this liquidity that's above. Boom. Oh man. Well, at least we have tomorrow morning to look forward to. Just after the opening bell, there's two red folders to be revealed at 9:45. So that should make for an interesting opening hour tomorrow morning. Yep. Yeah, William, we've been watching this green area. This is the new week opening gap. So this is the weekly open. It's kind of been sitting here all day. It does, you're right. It did look like it found some support here and then also here, especially the 50% mark, right at 230, right at 230, which is an interesting time for that to happen. I've noticed the half hour mark seems to be a popular pivot point, whether it's 10:30 in the morning or even 11:30 sometimes, but 10:30 seems to be popular. 8:30 seems to be popular. 2:30 is popular. Look at the dollar. Okay, Ray. Yeah, it's falling. It's exactly what we wanted to see, but equities market is not benefiting from that. But it's coming. It should be coming. Okay. 40-minute cycle. All right, 749. Wow, that's mm, 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 mm. Right. There we go. New high. There we go. Push right through. Or for this session for the afternoon, we got a new high. So we cut the breaker into 4 quadrants. The middle point of the new week opening gap was the upper quadrant. Came down, touched, and there it went. That was A little premature though, not inside of 250. I thought it would wait until 250. Crypto coming back. All right, now that the dust has settled, it looks like the silver bullet entry was from here, 767. First entry at 208, then 216, 226, and then for about 5 minutes, 330 to 330. Oh, sorry, 230 to 235. Target equal highs. 787 entering at 687 or 767. So it's about, so that was a 20-point silver bullet. You had to endure a lot of pain and you had to have diamond hands and watch it come back on you a couple times. Yep. That they were. That they were. At least they protected you down here. It didn't give you an entry to fake you out. But these impulses here, you had this one, then came back, allowed you an entry here. And eventually it wouldn't even give you the exit up here before stopping you out. I tried this one. Didn't work, came down and swept. Then I tried this one and it didn't work, came down and swept. So there you have it. Okay, so you got the re-entry into this fair value gap. Okay, awesome. Yep. So anyone who was short and kept sliding their stops down on these, this is everything that went and got smacked. All of these. So You're right, TJ. Today's not my day. I had a feeling today wasn't my day. Just, I could feel it and I could see it. I went against my rules and traded anyway. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, there's a volume imbalance right below these almost relative equal highs. Yeah, of course. I'm, I have no doubt I'll bounce back. It's just not today. Yeah, finally we have the three indices buying. Finally they're buying with the dollar pushing lower. All right, assuming price can get through this fair value gap, we have the 830 open up at 507. Okay, equal highs at 499. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. It's playing out just like that, Ray. We'll see how this last hour plays out, but you're right. It's playing right into it. All right, let's see if it runs these lows now. Now that it's made a new high. Okay, we're in the power hour now. 60 minutes until we finish off our session today. Let's see if we can get something better this last hour. See if that loosened up price a bit now that it's made a new afternoon high. Okay. 17,484. That's a level I want to see if it can break. Right. Still not playing ball. In about another 5 minutes to see what price wants to do before I have a better idea of what this hour may look like. Right. Look like it might want to run. A new high put in. Right now it's at the 830. Let's see if it pushes through or gets rejected. But even if it pushes through, there's still a big fair value gap here that can also reject price. So if it's to reach those highs from roughly 840 or so. We need to get up to 723, 724. I'm sorry, 523. I need to get glasses that are real glasses, not just these blue light ones. Or 64. Okay, back down to the new day opening gap or the new week. That could be. We'll see. It looks like on a daily, it's taken out 50% of the wick from yesterday, since yesterday's daily was pretty much all wick. Yep. Right, about 10 points away from those highs. Go ahead and mark that up. Okay, yep. We see all three indices pulling off of these hourly highs just recently. So it's not just Nasdaq pulling back, it's also the other two. Yeah, I do too. Breakers are really really good confirmations for any type of change in direction that you're looking for. Yep, it sure did. Let me go back to it. Yep. Was it this one? No, no, no. It's at 9:10. Did I delete that one? Oh, is this one? Okay, I forgot. You drew yours here and I drew mine here. That's right. Yep. It sure did. As long as you were paying attention, I pulled this across late. I pulled it across when the candle was up here. It was probably 5 after 3 or 10 after 3 when I finally drugged it across because I had it resting over here the whole time because it wasn't really validated and confirmed until we got over here. So my bad for not catching that. Yep. But there was a close above at 2:55. Then it was a retrace back in at 3 o'clock. And that was at 493. So yeah, you could easily got 20 points out of that. Yeah, sometimes I'm a little late in seeing the chat. Just because I try to check in every 5 to 10 minutes to see if anyone's said anything. Um, but yeah, trying to watch the charts and things. I'm still learning how to do both and try not to miss any trades because I don't want to miss any trades, but I also don't want to leave you guys hanging who may be asking a question. Yeah, no, it's crazy that breaker was set up right before the opening bell. Then the opening bell really put it into motion, and all you were waiting for was the retrace, and it just took 6 hours to come back. But it's all good. Crypto, you are on a quite a streak here. This is what 3 days in a row at least. To my memory, I don't know how you did last Wednesday and Thursday. You might be on a longer streak than that. Would this be a double top? Not quite. Nope, not a double top, but you could call it relative equal highs since this high is 522 and a half and the other is what 525 and a half, so it's about 3 points away. Yeah, if price ends up trading down here somewhere, then you can see it trading back up to take out this high and the one that's slightly higher. But no, I wouldn't call it a double top. 6 points on the ES. All right, low. Good job. There you go. Just wait for your setup. Your setup is the one that you're waiting for, no, not the ones that others are. So no, that's great that you are now being more disciplined to your setup, and it's only up from here. It definitely pays. Patience always pays. No, I don't trade crude. No, and there's no real reason why other than I just try to keep my pairs down to a minimum of 1 to 2, and then that's pretty much it. So if things don't look good on this particular day, there's no sense in fighting the market. But no, I try not to pay attention to 4 or 5 or 6 different pairs. Yeah, crypto, go and get that nap. I thought about not trading today just because last night I only got like 3 hours of sleep, and I was gonna say, that's part of my discipline is that if things are off and I didn't get a good night's sleep, or if I'm stressed for some other reason, there's a reason not to, then I shouldn't trade that day. And I thought about it, but you know, you live and you learn. I'll continue to get better. But crypto, good job again today, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Get some rest. Yeah, relaxation. I don't know. Streaming helps me also. The same way you guys say that you're patient by watching my stream, I'm also patient by streaming. Without it, I would have probably taken a couple more trades, probably 1 or 2 this morning, and probably similar trades like I took this afternoon. So you just end up over trading, and sometimes it's good, but even if you win, you end up giving it back. And so being patient, calming down is one of the things I wanted to work on, and I felt like streaming would help me with that. Not to mention, I watched a few other streamers and I watched how patient they were, and I was jealous. Yep, you're right about that, Ray. That was also something I couldn't when I first started trading, and someone was talking about forex, and I looked at it and I just, yeah, the indices just work much better for me in that way. And then when I found futures, that was even better. Just having one broker with same pricing for everyone, consistent spreads, it was just a win-win for me, and that was why I never really moved into forex. But I hear great things. I mean, people tell me that I think it's the euro dollar, I think, or British pound dollar, one of those two, or maybe both. I've had people talk great things about it and say that the setups are really nice and consistent, but just something I have never done, never really made that switch. Oh, well, thanks very much. Hopefully, you are also gaining the same kind of value as some of the other traders, and by slowing down, you're able to win more trades, or by taking fewer trades, you're able to grow your account. Yep. All right, we're almost at half past the hour. See where is price now? What's going on? Okay, still traded through, but rejected and closing inside of the fair value gap. Anyone still in the long, make sure you're protecting yourself. If you're waiting for 525 as your target, or if you want something higher than that, let's see what else is higher than that. Okay. All right, fair value gap at 535. So if you break 525, that might be exactly where price trades to. So keep that in mind just in case you're still in a long and it breaks through 525. And the next fair value gap is from 535 until 545. So it's about a 10-point gap. There we go. Hey, looks like right now there's a retest of the 830 open. Hey man, you missed absolutely nothing today. Absolutely nothing. I mean, unless of course watching me take two losses is something you wanted to see. Yep, yeah, you're right. The market was moving sideways all day until 2:30 ish, roughly around 2:30. That's when it finally loosened up a bit. But prior to that, we didn't really get much. It just squeezes in so you can see the range, right? So this was all stuff you didn't want to be a part of. Mm. Sweet 506 and simultaneously bounce off of the order block. Yeah. See if we get this right here. Yep, that's absolutely right. Biggest day you've had in 3 months. Wow, yesterday wasn't a great day price action wise, unless you caught the sale. Did you catch the sale at the opening bell? Was it the opening bell? I think it was the opening bell or around 10 o'clock, something like that. Oh, okay. Now the sale was really at lunchtime. And also, oh, I see. 10 o'clock sold off, all back up, and then sold off after lunch. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, so you were spot on the market the whole day. You were able to see it really well. That's awesome. All right, guys. I want to ask, how's the lag today? Well, not the lag. How's the delay in either things that I say or things that I show, and then when you guys view it, is it something I should continue to dig into and improve, or are you guys able to flow a little bit better with the delay that we have now? Raise my screen a hair so you can see exactly what time is on my screen compared to the time that you have. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, so if you look down here, I'm at 3:33, 28 seconds, 29, 30 seconds, 31 seconds. Okay. Seems like we're getting somewhere in between 8 and 15, 20 seconds, somewhere in there. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for that. If it's still too much to bear, let me know. There's one more setting that I can change it to. Um, so just let me know. Yeah, I guess yesterday was on maybe like a 30-second delay or something, but I didn't realize that. I didn't even realize the setting that I had it on was the, I guess, least aggressive of all the settings. Anybody up for another breaker? Do we think it'll break to the upside now? Boo, BooCom. If you're talking about on live stream, if you want to change the settings, it's when you set up your stream. In fact, let me I'll show you. All right. So, whoops. So when you're in the settings, when you set up your stream and you go through, put in whatever the description is going to be and what time you want to start streaming, it's down here. Stream latency. I had it on normal because I thought normal was the 15-second one that YouTube normally does. I put it on low latency, but there's one more option called ultra low latency that you can put it on. And ultra low latency, it just says that potentially you'll have I guess they'll downgrade the streaming quality if they need to in order to do. And it also said if you're doing interactive live stream, it's best to do a low latency. But obviously that wasn't part of the option when I originally set it up. It was something I had to go and find. But that's where you do that. All right, so S&P took its morning high with no problem. I mean, it just blew past the morning high, whereas Nasdaq we still didn't make it there yet. Right? See this high that was taken right here at 48.91. S&P took it no problem. Nasdaq came almost there and didn't quite get there. And the Dow was a lost cause. It's far away. We had about another 10 minutes and then we'll be at 350. And for anyone who knows, 350 can be an explosive period. It really does depend on what the market makers want to do, but it can, even though it seems like it's a short period, I've seen some 50, 100-point moves in that amount of time. All right, if we can start trading inside of this fair value gap, I'll redraw the breaker just in case we need it. That's okay. Let's leave it over here until we actually need it. So this breaker is at 519. Okay, watch and see if this fair value gap turns into an inversion. Okay. Crypto, I thought you was asleep. Here we go. All right, here's the liquidity sweeps. Swing high here, double top equal highs. If it reaches a second one, then we have a breaker. see, in the last 5 seconds, can it push through this first obstacle? This works out for me. And I'm in demo now. I shut down my other account. So I said I was done trading for the day, so I switched over to demo, and so I'm willing to take this trade just to see how things play out. Murder algo. Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. It's about 50% of this range here, so it can go either direction. Relative equal highs. Didn't quite get there. Trade back down into a fair value gap. Before all of that, a sweep of a low into a fair value gap. So had a lot of reasons to think this might work, but we'll see. Oh no. Don't do it to me. No. Actually, it should be here. Should be the stop loss for the fair value gap entry. Doesn't matter. It took me anyway. All I had my fingers crossed. I was hoping it was going to get above this second high here. Open up that. Mm. Yep. And look at what is happening now. How nice. How nice. Every time. Every single time. All right, that's the first obstacle taken. Let's see if the second one now comes. Or also, it's 350 now. So I told you 350 can sometimes bring fireworks. Look at that one candle. It's like 20 points. All right, I think this is going to be needed. Here we go. Let's see if we get a chance to just take this trade if it comes back. Here, yep, it should be here. Oops. All right, Chris. All right, I'll think about what else I can do to make it easier. I didn't realize it was. I mean, the background is I have it the lightest shade of gray. But okay, I'll take that into consideration. Thanks for your feedback. Okay, we'll take it at 600 for those last two. Yeah, but it did stop me out. That it did. It came and got me. But so now everyone who stuck around and saw what happened at 350, now when you hear me talk about 350, you'll understand, and maybe stick around to the end of the stream every day, because this is what can happen. It basically the move of the day can sometimes happen at 350 and it'll run until 405, 410, and then stop off. So yeah, my opinion, the reason why I had the stop loss originally up at the 50% mark is because I was, I'm always looking for a 1 to 2 trade. So based on entering at the top of, well, based on this breaker being so large, a 1 to 2 trade was just like up here. So I said, all right, let's just go to the 50% mark. And that was 1.7. And I said, okay, it's 350. So we might run out of time to get a 1 to 2. So let's just see how far it goes. And then I adjust it back down to the start of the fair value gap at 535. So that was my thought behind that, caveman. Finally one. And crypto, as you say it, you love breakers. And here it is. Yep, from 50 to 10. So it's from 310 here until 410. But there are some that runs in the middle of the hour from like 15 to 45. I know I've heard ICT talk about 315 to 345. That's the only one he really refers to that's in the middle of an hour. But majority of them, yes, are the last 10 minutes of 1 hour and the first 10 of the following. All right, everyone, we are 2 minutes away, or 2.5 minutes away from the close of our session. Please throw in your last questions and thoughts before we get off today. Right. Oh man, this is what I didn't even consider because I was just waiting for the breaker. I didn't even think about this huge fair value gap that was created inside. Talking about a unicorn. Didn't even see it. Yes, I do too, caveman as well. Hopefully better. Interesting is um, it's a good term, but hopefully better. Last today and yesterday, just I'm not a big fan of the price action we've seen. Mm. Oh, you mean kind of like what we saw on Friday, and then we saw Sunday night open up, and it just kept running until 3, 4 in the morning before it started to retrace. That can definitely happen. Yeah, could be Zach. I haven't back tested or looked into it in that level of detail, but I just have seen 350 explode too many times. It seems like a couple times a week that happens. And this right here is actually relatively tame. Ooh, okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. Those kind of moves. And here it is, 4 o'clock. No one's really looking to trade. And then you see price run. And where it can go from here is, man, anyone's guess. Like I said, I've seen it run 50, 100 points fairly easily during this time. Okay. And look at that retrace. All right. Okay. Yep. So this was my original entry, and I was thinking about a 1 to 2 up here being too much and thinking that we wouldn't get it, and couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. It hit your original TP. Sweet. During that session. I was hesitant to hold that late in the day. Yep. Oh, what time are you guys trading during London? Are you starting at like 2 a.m. New York time? Yes, 4 p.m. can be the Wild West. I mean, just random things happen sometimes. But All right, let's remove some of this stuff off the charts. And once again, everyone, this was another good session, although not great results on my account, but it was a good session. We furthered our learning and patience. We also continued to see when price action was not favorable and when we needed to just kind of hang back and chill for a minute. And yeah, we also held all the way to the end to see if price would actually do what we were looking for it to do, and it did. So yeah, today was a good session. Congrats to everyone who had winning trades. To everyone who didn't, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll try to be stronger. And that's all I got. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. Thanks for your support, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning, 9:15. Have a good day. Good night. Cheers, everyone.